tere tulemast, DALÍ podcast alustab taas, mina olen DALÍ, podcast ärkavale inimesele ja mul on hea meel, et sa mind kuulad või YouTube'ist vaatad. Järelikult oled sa huvitatud nendest teemadest ja mis saaks olla veel parem kui see, kui üks inimene on huvitatud ärkamise teemadest. Mul on siin saates külas erinevad inimesed, kes siis on kas ise põneval teekonnal või teevad midagi põnevat või on mind kuidagi mõjutanud või on kuidagi minu arvates sinule, mu armas kuulaja, huvitav kuulata. Ja täna on mul tegelikult inglisekeelne saade tulemas, sest minu saatekülaline on pärit Prantsusmaalt ja tema tegeleb kehatööga, teeb body de-armoringi, mis on siis pingetest vabastamise tehnika, ta teeb energiatööd, ta teeb erinevaid väga huvitavaid kehasse alistumise praktikaid ja siuke nagu keha ja energiatööd. Olen ise käinud samamoodi tema juures kogemas body de-armoringi ja väga mõnusa tunnetusega, väga mõnusa energiaga, väga turvalise ja hea õhustiku ta luua oskas ja keha koos selle blokeeringutega ta tunneb hästi. Nii et nüüd ma edasi siis lülitun inglise keele peale ja ma ei hakka seda kuidagi tõlkima ja sellega seda saadet kuidagi venitama ega segama. Usaldan, et kõik, kes saavad aru, need saavad aru ja võib-olla ongi hea upgrade'ida ka oma inglise keele taset niimoodi, et siis kuulata kas või mitu korda, et siis aru saada. So, welcome Anthony Larnaudie. What's your last name? I can't pronounce it. Larnaudie.
Yeah.
Anthony, anyway,
Yes.
You're Anthony.
Yes.
Welcome to
Yeah.
DALÍ podcast. I'm really glad that we finally made it and found the time. That is like both of us. We can be here and do the episode. We've been looking for the time for many months for now.
Yeah, since September. It's a great pleasure to be here. It's going to be interesting.
Yes.
I'm like,
You've been in Estonia for almost 4 years now.
Yeah.
But you're originally from
France.
What do you do here? How did you end up here?
Okay, I will make the story short. When I came, it was the time when for me to change in one of the business to like a company stage, and I was also looking for traveling. In France, you have a lot of bureaucracy, and when you upgrade the stages, you also have like 3 times more taxes. So it was the 2 main reasons, and I had few French friends that were there already for a year or 2, and they said, look, well, it's really good, you should come and try. The system is more easy, people are really nice, the weather is clean in terms of pollution, you know.
Mm-hmm. And this is the only good thing about our weather, no pollution.
That's the main things they said. I didn't know about the rest. I came in summer, the summer is pretty good. So.
Yeah, the 3 days we have beautiful summer.
So I was, like in summer. So then I came and I felt good, so I said, okay, let's start. First 2 years was a lot of traveling, so not really staying here. And then like the pandemic hit, and then I was more locked here, but still working online at that time on different kind of businesses, doing marketing also for a client, copywriting. And then came a crash where finally I listened to what I was supposed to do, and everything came more by itself, and until now where I'm doing what I'm doing.
And what are you doing now?
So it came that I reconnected with the energy healing. This is coming from a long time. I've had great talk with my mother that said that, when you were a child, you were more intuitively already going, like touching people, or me, when you felt like something is not like, they are not so feeling well. But I didn't know that. It's just like this year talk. So it's one thing. And then a few signs, people are starting to tell me like, what are you doing with your hand? And at that time I didn't know, so I was like, well, I don't know what I'm doing with my hands. And eventually I came across like one training that I understood that, and same for the armoring. I was like a bit fascinated by that practice and the result that could come from that while I was talking with Igor that you had also one time here. And it came that one of the trainer that they had in their festival the previous year was in town for a workshop. So I went there and everything just clicked. And that's where it started. The next week a lot of practices, and already a week after someone was like, well, I want a session with you. I was like, okay, well, then more and more and more, and getting more trainings and just practicing, but it felt like I already knew that for a long time. And it's the same feedback that I had. So when things come more with ease, I think is where you understand that it's more your way. So ease, yeah, it's a good word. It's the first things that I never had to force to just move on and grow and expand. Where in the past, whatever the type of business I've been trying to do, I try to do in the way that, you know, someone show like he have, I don't know, a successful way of doing it, you try to do the same. But it's not your way, it's not what your body is comfortable with. This is even what is not aligned with you in your life. Especially when you step into spirituality, you can't step back. You need more and more to follow what is the calling and to realign yourself, to do the shadow work, to free yourself, to be more connected with your inner guidance and not with the outside guidance. I mean, doesn't mean it's not all good, but at some point you can't just go all in with the mind.
But this is something we do very often. We don't check, like taking in, like during the decision-making period, or like choosing what to do, when to do, how to do. We usually don't check our body. We don't check are we aligned. We don't check the like, do we have full body? Yes. Do we really want it? We just like usually we take some standards from someone else and then just try to follow them, and then think why it's all so hard, why it's so difficult. Where
it doesn't have to be that hard. Doesn't mean it's not working, but there is two worlds that for me are a bit like fucked up in a way, is the self-help world. Because at some point, if you go deep into that, you might be okay with not having that much problem. And more you go deeper into it, more you start to be solved by someone that will say that you have a problem because this is not working exactly that how it should be, but it doesn't have to be the certain way, it have to be your way. But if you start to believe that, then you start to want to buy more stuff and more stuff and more stuff, and at the end you start thinking that you have a lot of problem where the only problem you have is thinking you have some. So that's the first trap, and this is also creating conditioning in the business. Is the same. You think there is only one way to succeed. That's the way, like you have been, like someone made a course, you follow the course, you're a good student, you do everything, which is already good because the majority of people never finish the course. You finish the course, you do everything great, but you feel still misaligned with what you're doing. And this is frustrating, and usually this is causing at some point a health issue. Small sign that you need to rest, or if you don't listen, then you break your legs or you get a higher, like deeper disease.
You see so much, so many different people who come to you to have some energy sessions, to have some body work. What do you say? What are the Estonians like typical problems or the body parts that are very like locked down with like energy?
Hard to say only one, but
you can name many.
Some that come is, for example, the being in touch with the emotion, just allowing yourself to feel, not the way we want to feel, but what is really there. This sometimes come from really far, like the childhood or even earlier. Sometimes it comes later during the life, but allowing yourself to feel. So if you don't allow yourself to feel, of course, maybe you're more secure, but in the same time, you can't listen to your body, so inner guidance 0. You can't also enjoy pleasure, so usually this is connected if you talk with a sexual life, like having problem, having orgasm, or having painful sex, or getting trapped again into this, how is it called, like toxic relationship, where you just change the partner, but you reflect the same things from within to outside because you haven't changed something inside. And Yeah, so that's mainly, sexuality, pleasure, pain. Sometimes people might say, oh, it's painful, but it's not painful because it is painful. It is painful because your interpretation of the sensation. Because when you relax into the sensation, that's where it can become to be more pleasurable, even more, even maybe not pleasurable at first, but going through it.
The surrendering, right?
The surrendering. Surrendering is a big part. There is usually also the typical cases. I've been working with different mind-based therapy for some years, and at some point you understand that, okay, you have been making peace with the traumas, you have been understanding yourself better, you have been gaining some self-confidence, maybe more self-love, but there is still something that does not allow you to receive or flow through life to really get what you're meant to live. And these come through the body. That's where usually we don't even to talk much, but the body have all the knowledge. The body is wise. And that's where you can come to create more from a surrender place. Surrendering, as what I call it, like surrendered creation. That's even like what I'm expanding a bit more in October is teaching around what it feels to take decision from the body and to make the bridge between, for example, these intentions and dreams to see how they feel in the body. Because if you go forwards, there is always the resistance of that. When you want something, there is a resistance, like an equal effort that is required to go through. So how does it feel in the body, this effort or these blocks? What is this to go through? And when you go through that, then you have the door opening to your intention, to your desire, to your direction. It gives also the knowledge about the way to move, not the thought way, but the felt way. Doesn't make sense always for the mind. Might be scary, especially when you haven't done the work with the body. This is abstract concept. Like if we talk about take decision from the body, if you haven't done that all your life, this is completely the unknown. And even how would you want to do that?
Yeah, it's very difficult to understand how to listen to my body when there's no connection, when there's when there's no connection. How to create the connection with my own body?
It's giving space. So we have been talking a bit before. It's for example, we all the time run around being busy, doing things or thinking what is the next step. But instead of that, the needs would be, for example, just to sit. Because when you sit with what is right now. So what is the feeling, the sensation felt of your actual condition, which is not good or bad. You might feel bad, maybe unpleasant feeling or pain, but doesn't have to be something to fight against. You're not trying to get rid of the pain. What the pain have to say, because sometimes it's a sign of overwhelmment, or you have been pushing too much, or you need to get clear in your life. So it's a sign. But if you try, you take a pill that is just a painkiller, okay, well now, and let's get back to work. You're suppressing your body. It's even a way of creating new trauma of this shut it down.
Why is it bad? Why can't we suppress our bad emotions, the pain? Why is it bad? What does it do harm?
Which aspect? It creates disconnection. So disconnection is like you have the beautiful light, you have electricity, but you don't have the cable to connect the two. So you can have the potential to have a beautiful light. You know how it works, but you can't plug in. So if you disconnect your body with your body, then you disconnect between what it feels to be you, whatever the condition, and what you want. And what you want when you realign become also aligned with what you need. That's why also people complain with what they attract, because they get what they need, not always what they want, until what they want is aligned with what they need. And that's a subtle difference. But this comes when you clear the path. When you, like, if there is rocks on the road, you're just removing the rocks, and then the road is free and you can speed up on the road. And the paradox is you don't have to speed up. It will speed up by itself because you have been taking time to slow down, to see that there is rocks on the road. And then you stopped, you removed the rocks. So on the same comparison would be you sat with your body, or you have done a session, or you have done the work even at home, just being with what is and seeing what is behind, allowing yourself to feel, to cry, to express it, to be sad, or to rest.
Yeah, I think that this part to rest is getting more and more important, because we just previous guest also, we had the conversation and we talked also that we very often we feel ashamed when we're not doing anything, and like resting is for weak people, and you know to turn around this belief. It's very difficult,
because this create unpleasant sensation in the body. I observed that many people are not capable of, or not trained, I would say they are capable, but they are not trained to be with unpleasant feeling. Everybody just want the light part, but not the dark part. They want the light one, but not the heavy one. But it's part of the same. Each time you grow, you face a new layer of your shadow, because they are part of it. So just wanting to grow or wanting to be just in peace all the time, it's an illusion. It's more like learning to feel what is and to ride the waves of the intensity, and making peace with the mind also. The mind have a normal, goal to protect herself. So in a way, like, he is made just to secure action that will not put us in danger. But it's just like, there is a fear, okay, let's go with the fear together. There is anything, let's go with it together. There is a sensation, let's see what the sensation is saying. Because the body is talking. I remember I always had that when I was a child, with a book from French doctor like Jacques Martel. There is the equivalent with Lise Bourbeau that explain all the meaning of the diseases or pain in the body, like a very big one. Even like when you cut your finger on the right side or on the left side, depending which fingers, it tell you what you have to look at. And it's really true. So, but this come usually when you haven't listened to small signs, because you're disconnected, or you're like shutting down the emotions, so you don't feel them, you don't hear the signals. If it's coming to the body, it have been already impacted the different energy body around, because it's out there. It's like the homeopathy, the other way around. You take this homeopathy, scientifically, if they test the small ball, there is nothing is sugar, but there is a frequency that go working on the etheric and astral body. So this take more time than to impact the physical body. But it's the same. If we hurt our physical bodies, mean like there is a repairment to do, if I could say, nothing to fix, but like something to act on a more deeper layer. So stopping everything sometimes is needed, and then allowing this to regenerate by itself. The body regenerates cells every, I think, 9 months, if I remember. Energetically, we need that space, and sometimes we need that help too. And then that's why things move so much, because when it's aligned, you see by feeling it what is right in your body. If something is off, you're not gonna do it. You're not gonna go somewhere. The other side is, if something feels really good, even if it feels crazy, you still can trust and go. If you make peace with the mind, peace with yourself. peace with others. Because then you know that it's your feeling, and even if it doesn't make sense, for example, someone invites you to go participate to a workshop with you, and your body say no, but your mind say, oh, but I really like the teacher, and I've been waiting for that, and I love that friend. It doesn't make sense to say no for the mind. But maybe half an hour later you will understand that by not participating, then you had this amazing conversation with the new, I don't know, you met the neighbor or someone that also didn't participate, that you exactly needed that and you have the resources you were looking for. But it didn't make sense for the mind.
I also very carefully follow my full body yes, or the body, what the body says, and especially the full body yes. If I want to do something, if I have to decide something, if I have to choose something, or buy something or whatever, then my body needs to say yes. And it's so, the difference is so big. And the full body yes is very clear. It's not about it's not like maybe, or I don't know, or I don't know, I'll wait a bit, or let's see in the morning what I feel in the morning or something. The full body yes is like very clear, very loud, very, very concrete yes. And if it's not full body yes, then it's no. Maybe there are some circumstances that needs to be like changed. Maybe it's not, I don't know, maybe the timing is wrong, or maybe the package is wrong, or maybe the person is wrong, or maybe the color is wrong, or maybe the price is wrong, or something, maybe some detail. Maybe the whole thing is not no, but maybe there are something that needs to be changed in order to have this full body yes.
Yeah. Well, when you create some test in the body, you can create funny tests also. Like if it's yes or no for something. But this also need to be connected with your feeling. So if you first can't feel your body, or you know that you have like a weight that you haven't released, the message could be wrong, because you will reflect the subconscious reaction.
And this is why it's so important to release.
Yes.
Our
Because then
body
you
from
make that
different
space,
emotions.
so you come back again to this alignment, to this clear space with harmony, I would say. So when it's harmony and you see what is true for you, that's where if you ask a question like, for example, should I eat the chocolate right now? You might feel if it's good for you or not good for you. And then you can have different tests like, okay, is that this or that better? And feel which one have a charge. And sometimes like, or another option. Is this one or a better option? I don't know yet. Sometimes it's none of like, should I eat like the dark chocolate or the milk chocolate or something else? Maybe something else stay, because chocolate is not for me, but something else could be. Right. Mind doesn't like that, but you get clarity when the body is kind of pure. So then you know that it's not like a story that is just expressed with the body to keep you safe or whatever the situation.
Yeah, and this is one of the very important reasons why we need to clear our body from different emotions. Because if we are stuck in different emotions, and if we like ignore them and try like wish them to go away by ignoring them, they're just like gathering in different parts in our body, and they're like making the vision foggy, and we can't feel right, we can't see right, we can't like speak right, because it's so much connected with the feeling in our body. And if it's full of negative emotions, then we can't be like positive, happy, loving person with full of negative suppressed emotions.
Well, I have an example that comes to my mind about relationship. Is when you're triggered in your body by any small stuff that the partner could say, that's where you put a lot of things under the carpet. You're not talking about them, you're not addressing them, but they are still there, and it's important, like deep talk or something that you feel. It's even usually not about the person itself. It's because the person is mirroring you, because it's the perfect reflection. Relationship create this really potential of growth, where you see clearly and deeper. But whatever you address those points, or you're not addressing those points, is still there. But at some point, the carpet can't hold a lot, and this creates conflict, misunderstanding, and misagreement. And that's where at some point you say, "Oh, I'm fed up with that, and I'm leaving," because you've spent years not looking at the important stuff. They're not easy to address, but when you free yourself, you observe that you're not reacting, and the person says something about what she or he feels, and you're not triggered with that. So then you're more in peace to look at what is really behind that. Because if you're triggered, you stay in the surface. Sometimes I also see that after one session, sometimes men especially are more disconnected with their emotions. So when they reconnect and they start feeling, everything is brought up to their surface and they start to be triggered more easily. But it's not even about them, it's about them feeling themselves, but they don't know this reaction or this reflection from people because they are used to get the reflection of a face that they are showing. I'm like this. Not how they feel, especially women. Because women feels people and men more if they are in their true self.
What do you think? Do we need to feel everything and do we need to understand everything that are suppressed in our body in order them to go away or release or fade away? Do we need to feel them in order them to leave?
At some point, yeah. Like this phrase is like feel it to heal it. So it's also what you do. Like when we give space in the session at a specific point in the body, you give that space to feel what you have been suppressing and then you let it go. But this feeling phase is important. You can't just, something rise and you kick that out. This is a bit too rushed and it needs to be felt. We don't need to understand everything. Sometimes it's not needed. It's just the way it is there. You just need to give it space and to cry if you need or to do whatever and then to release it. The main reason where it's needed to understand is more if the trauma is fresh. You have a fresh trauma that came last week. It's maybe not the best idea to work with the body straight away because you are really reacting. Like a small things could trigger something like you can't handle yet because it's unknown by your nervous system and the intensity is too much. So then it's more going to learn different ways of getting stable and knowing that now I can deal with that. Because it's always beneficial anyway, but more you're still stable and you have done the kind of understanding process, more you can go deep in the release. And sometimes that's also where I've seen going into past life release. There is pain that comes, it's not that life. When the person describes, I felt I've been burned, no, it's not in that life, obviously. But this need to have already done the work of understanding where you are standing and to allow yourself to really feel whatever the level of the feeling is.
Sometimes, I also, when I've had the body de-armoring, then I also felt that some points of my body were quite painful. But I felt, even though I didn't know why they are painful or what exact emotion are hidden there, or I didn't understand. And sometimes I even I kind of felt the feeling, but maybe just the pain and maybe some sadness or maybe some grief or something. And then it was released. That's why I asked, do I really need to know everything that's causing pain in my body, or I just can breathe and hold the space and it can go away?
Well, the body could basically do it by itself, so it doesn't need to be understood, but it needs to have that space. You said the right words. You need to give that space. You can't just try to kick that out. You need to give that space. Sometimes the understanding is needed, and it also depends how deep you have been traumatized. Or sometimes people have really painful and hard stuff that happened to them. So depending how hard and how deep it happened, they might need to work a bit more with the mind before. I also like to work with human design. For my own understanding, I usually ask the chart just to get what people would describe in their life, because sometimes the body stored trauma, so when we can free that, but give a direction of understanding your function better, like the way you function in the better way, to mix that with a more navigating way in life. Because the mind still sometimes need to be, like, you're a good boy, it's okay, safe, stay with me. So you need a bit of food, the right one, to understand, okay, yeah, well, I don't get what you're doing, but I'm okay.
Let's talk about a bit more about your work and your sessions, so people can maybe have some more vision about what you're doing, like when they're coming to have a session or 2 or 4 with you. How does it look? What do you do with them?
The first stage, I would say, is to just check the timing. Most common is being ready. Like most of the people that come, they are feeling that now it's the time. It's not like, I'm going for therapist to check if everything is good, or I want to be a bit more this, a bit more that. It's something that is felt. It's like, well, I've tried many things, or just I heard about that and I have a feeling in my body, or even not in my body, but I have a sensation that and now I need to go deeper into the feeling into my life. So it depends also the approach, because it could be just I need to feel myself to open more, to feel more, and it's like very personal, like whatever it's for gaining back confidence, getting out of depression, increasing the level of joy, the sensation in the body, dealing more easily with what is happening every day. Or then this is usually addressed more after a few sessions. What is behind that you're working on? It could be a relationship, could be a business, because that's where you can connect with what I call this surrendered creation that we mentioned before, is connecting with the body, tapping into the wiseness, but connecting also with this field creation, understanding your design, and connecting with your business. How does it feel to have this yes, how to get direction, how to work properly without burning out. That's the connection we can easily make. So I would say if it's all coming through commitment. One session is really effective. There's many people, they come just one time, they have huge effect. I even can't list everything that it's doing. And then they go, and sometimes they come back like half a year later or whatever. But if it's the time, like, okay, now it's something I feel is the tipping point where the end of the cycle or the time to really go deeper, like usually they come in for a few sessions. Because then you know that you're going deeper. Usually I include one of them as my partner for constellation work and human design and body work and energy work together, because then you work with the body, you work with the energy field, you work with the surrendered creation way. This is more the felt way.
But it's not massage. You're not going to like classical massage. They're like laying down, and then you do some energy work there.
Yeah. At the beginning, I was doing different sessions separately, like the armoring one session, and the energy work, energy healing, like another session. But now I put everything together because I observe that it's more effective, and then the body can also receive and recharge in the same time that he's opening and healing and freeing himself. Same with the sexual energy. If you work about energy massage in the tantra, it's about like feeling your energy body. So these, if the person open, this can happen like after a few sessions. If the body is locked, after a few sessions, it happen that you're more open, and then less touch are needed, and you're more able to feel and to connect differently and to release more the pathway of all the body. Then it move, and usually it's vibrating, like the sensation that they describe at the end of the session, like the body vibrate because the channel are more open.
And I believe the connection with the body and releasing all the negative, not all the negative, but like the main blocks and making the connection much stronger. It gives it rises the quality of life in every field.
Yes. Yes. Because what you feel personally it could be, I like this triangle, like whatever you do is business, work, money, is also connected to you, and it's also connected to any relationship. So if any of those three could be like weak, if we could say, like, because it's not going well, but sometimes we can look at the other area and we will feel a pattern or something that we express ourselves differently, that is not our true self. And yeah, it's this transition where it's a world of business, of doing, forcing, over controlling the plan, and where it's more flowing, feeling, connecting with people, connecting with the client, connecting with the group, and creating this energetically first and within, instead of just putting this out and trying to figure out from the mind. I mean, both should work together, but the root is the body. So yeah, in relationship it make it much more easy, and also it helps to be more clear in the sensation. Like, for example, let's say someone go on a date, instead of looking from the mind, oh, maybe this guy is good, I have this and that, or I like this and that, and how do you feel? If you ignore everything that he said to you, how do you feel him, and how do you feel yourself in his company? Give you much more information about even like how do you value your time. Should you go for a second one? Because if you already felt like there is something, two ways, like either it's over and you're not going, or you can address that. And it's also information, like where is the person in his path? Because if you feel something, you address that and the person reacts, it's maybe not what you want, because you want to be able to communicate to those deep level.
And it also can bring up some issues that maybe, you felt like insecurity or something, and then you're brave enough to bring it up and to like share the feeling with this date partner, and then maybe he's just like himself also, maybe he had some issues, and then maybe he had some bad news during the day, and maybe he was with maybe he was thinking about something else and couldn't focus, and this like made him to do some, I don't know, mistakes with driving the car, and then she felt insecure maybe, and when like facing the problem, then it can stronger the connection.
Because let's say two ways of addressing that, like dating. You haven't dealt with your body, you are still reacting. There is many subconscious part of you that triggers you, whatever, like someone says something, someone act or not act on something, like, and doesn't care about you, or what your mind can interpret it in thousands of ways. If you haven't worked with that, you can interpret it like someone giving you love, instead of just showing really the real self, just giving you love because you need to be feeling cared of, and you're giving the father's side of that to the person you meet. Instead of, okay, no, I don't want to be in that position, I'm free with myself, I'm feeling good, that's why I also feel good, and you see this reflection. At which depth you can talk, because how can you have like a profound connection with someone if it's just like, oh, it feels good, but you can't really talk about anything deep. You can't address the roots when there is a problem without feeling yourself like triggered and feeling that it's personal. It's not personal. Something that came with you and came with the person with the time, and now you're feeling it. But either you escape, or you just, okay, not too much, or you will fight with it, and it's great conflict. So how deep can you address those stuff with the person? The good test is first date. First date is not like the usual question. It's going more into deep question about like, what is your view in life? How do you deal with conflict? Those stuff that you would maybe feel to talk more later, but straight away. Because if we can't straight away talk with that first day, how will it be when you will live with the person? Is the marriage will give an illusion of security? Or have you worked deeply from the beginning to be sure that you are safe with yourself, and you can address what makes you feel unsafe? Because it's not the marriage that will save that.
Mm-hmm.
You probably observed that with many person that you have worked with.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, relationship-wise, it can help to be more clear for who you choose to let in at the beginning. So it's saving time, it's saving like trouble and bad pain that is not needed. Even if sometimes like there is this karma side that we could say like maybe it was needed to experience that, and you need to have a certain type of relationship. But let's say we talk from a place where now we are more aware of what is happening, and you are aware of where you are, and you feel that you don't want to repeat that again, so you need to look really at the root of why all of this happened and when you have been repeating again and again in the past, to not repeat it now.
Mm-hmm.
And freeing yourself with the body, usually free yourself with many of those stuff, because you start to show up with your true self. So we, especially women, don't have to do anything but just being, and suddenly, the right ideal partner show up from nowhere or from an unexpected situation. And it's perfect, and it's even unbelievable that you don't know if you can trust because it's so beautiful. But it just came because you started to be, not trying to show yourself in any way that is not truly you.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big difference.
Mm-hmm.
That's where the body is wise, because when you work with the body, we don't talk much. The body do all the work. And at the end, this is the hand reflection, what is happening. That's magical, and same in all the different area. Just relationship is quite common one, and yeah.
Mm-hmm. What would you suggest? How to understand the signs of the body? Sometimes we feel off. Sometimes we feel that something is wrong. For example, for whatever, maybe in some friendship, maybe some relationship, a romantic relationship, maybe it's some colleague at the work, maybe there's some decisions, maybe you, I don't know, made some decision to go to travel somewhere, but now you feel something is off. Or you promised to go somewhere to do something, and then it's not full body yes. How to understand what the body is saying?
It's hard to explain what the body is saying, especially what you describe is when it's something happening afterwards. You already took the decision, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like also the more like a different aspect. They would say like if you would consecrate and feel that it's a no from the kind of the sign of the divine, and it's the same. You will not do or will not eat.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end, it's coming through the body, through the senses. Let's say you go to the restaurant, you order the dish you really like, but today you feel like, no, I don't feel that one. And the dish is coming, you already maybe paid or whatever, and you feel no.
Mm-hmm.
That's challenging the trust, because maybe nothing will happen if you eat, but maybe you will have I don't know, there is something in the ingredient and you will get intoxicated.
Mm-hmm.
This happen. So afterwards is how much you trust. How honest have you been with yourself when you made the decision? So the body can just reflect back, have you been honest with yourself? For example, friends invited you, you haven't met them for a while, your mind say, oh, it would be nice.
Mm-hmm.
And on the moment you don't feel to go.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the mind would say, yeah, it's not really polite, you can't really cancel like this. But maybe if you really listen yourself, the only things you need is to go to bed and sleep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we are. I really like the sentence or the expression that. How do you say it in English? That in moments like this, like when you have to choose yourself whether someone else. Then I've heard and followed the sentence that to whom you are like loyal, to whom you are loyal. Are you loyal to yourself, or are you loyal to someone else? And when being loyal to someone else, we're actually abandoning ourselves, and this is quite harmful.
Yes.
Harmful thing to do.
Yeah. Well,
like bad thing to do. Yeah, to abandon ourselves, to say no to my feeling, to my need, for example, to go to bed, and instead of being loyal to myself, being true to my feeling, I'll choose my friends, or I'll choose someone else, or I'll choose I'll choose to be loyal to some, I don't know, to some promise I gave 2 weeks ago, but it's not true anymore. And instead of saying no, instead of changing my mind, instead of doing new decision, I'll abandon myself and being loyal to someone else. How like absurd is this? But we are doing this so much, aren't we?
Yeah. I think this can help to be more self-aware. Again, coming from the feeling, because if you feel more a situation, you will pay more attention. So if you pay more attention, you can see maybe earlier that you need to say something. Also observe sometimes, like if you wait to say something, you should say it, you might have the throat like starting to hurt. Like think, you have something to say. And as soon as you make the call or even write to the person, say, well, I really feel that I wanted to share. There's no hard feeling, but I feel this heaviness in myself, and I just wanted to express that this and that, and yeah, thank you for receiving me. And sometimes it's enough. Sometimes it's just we need to be honest with ourselves. What do we really need now?
What do you think? Why it's so difficult to be honest with ourselves?
There is different aspect on that. I think is there any loyalty with the family line that we are repeating? Like we have been taught that way, and that's why we are just continuing again and again, because it would just break the family loyalty program in a way. So that to check on that side, how does it make us feel if we break it? What does it mean? And just going deeper into the meaning of that, being aware of what is behind the layers. And then feeling that, because sometimes we avoid to feel, so that's also like what we talked a bit before, is not sitting with what is, bring us to avoid to see really underneath. And those situations are just kind of gift from life to experience from different aspects this possibility, especially when you start to be aware of it and you have a kind of like a test. Are you sure you want to listen yourself? Look, there is all your friend waiting for you tonight. Do you want to go? And that's where you get like the inner sensation. How do you feel? So instead of rushing, I don't know what to do, even to sit doing nothing, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, but not meditating, even just sitting. Not listening to thought, not doing anything, just sitting, pausing, and seeing what comes. If there is sensation, there is something unpleasant, whatever arises. Okay, this is coming from there. Because when you make space in your glass is full of water. You can't add more water as message. So you clear every thought, and then you have space for getting inspired, or just seeing the wisdom. So that's where you see like, okay, this is not from me, I'm just repeating that again and again. And you can start to have like, if you step back and you see the situation while sitting and doing nothing, which is paradoxal. The brain says you are doing nothing, how this work, and then by doing nothing you create that space of seeing the bigger picture. And that's where you understand, like, well, I really need this instead of that. And even if it's not pleasant, being with that is not pleasant feeling. Not avoiding it because it's too easy. I don't feel good, let's go. And that's where, so if it's not about being with yourself, talking, if it's with the partner, talking with the partner, if it's with friend, talking with friend. Well, I'm feeling this now. Being able to discuss the feeling in the closed circle.
Yeah, and when sharing very deep feelings with close circle, it creates so beautiful connection with yourself and with the other people.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes even if like, I think it's like, even if the mind is saying that I can't say no, I can't change my mind, I can't cancel the meeting, this like, and we don't want to do those things because we think that if I do this, then it like creates the disconnection between me and my friend. But when sharing the place where I am at the moment, and doing it with like the honest place,
mm-hmm.
and sincere place, and showing your real feelings and your real struggle maybe, or the real issues you're having at the moment, then it may even create the bigger connection instead of creating disconnection.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's a good tool also to see who are your real friends.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because if you can't talk about that and the person get offended,
mm-hmm.
well, it's nothing bad about you, just showing her that she or he have to do the work.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe you can just be more careful about the time you spend with the person, because the close person with who you can share everything, or those with who you grow with who you share deep things. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also the way then you put yourself out
Mm-hmm.
from an honest position. You took a step because, no, that this is good to show, or this is Instagrammable,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
but because you really feel that.
Yeah, and being so honest and put yourself out, like even just to your friend, to show your, like, without any masks or any filters, it's a beautiful place where to check yourself in self-development scale or something. Where are you at the moment? Are you like able to go through that discomfort feelings, to like whether you're gonna hide it and do something you don't want to do, or you're bigger than this.
Mm-hmm.
You bring it up, you show yourself in this non-sexy place. Yeah, it's a good place also to just to check yourself. Where are you? But you're not doing only one-to-one sessions. You're also doing group sessions.
Yes.
And the group session is very catchy name. The surrender yourself.
Surrender to yourself.
Yeah,
yes.
surrender to yourself. What does it mean, surrender to yourself, and what happens in a group session?
The group session came because I've experienced in myself, in my life, many of the deepest transformation in group.
Mm-hmm.
Because in group there is different effects that are taking place, like the co-regulation, also the co-activation. So someone like go through something, the person open, then someone else in the room is in the same frequency and will also open. Where if the person would have been in a smaller group, that wouldn't happen. So it's energetically very supportive usually to be in the group. So I've been bringing together different practices that anyway happen in one-on-one, like the breath work, the body work, the armoring, and also energy work, energy healing and energy transmission, or Kundalini activation, some people call it that way, like the feminine path. Because when you go for just maybe breathing, it's still like a workout. You're giving yourself to the breath, and you keep breathing, and you keep breathing. And what I've observed and what people usually say is that's a place where you still breathe, you still keep your rhythm, it's still regular, but because of the energy work, you open more easily, so you don't have to force to get to that place where, you're in touch with yourself. So that's mainly where it came, surrender to yourself, because you are more easily brought to feel what you have at that moment. And it's always good. And even like last time someone came, said, luckily I brought my friend, otherwise maybe I would have cancelled. And she said, yeah, the friend brought you here because it's exactly what you needed. And at the end she said, yeah, that's exactly what I needed, because we can't do it by ourselves, but we are all busy. And being in the group, that's giving this gift to ourselves where we have that space made for that. And that's where also we can address deeper talk, like this month, talking about this surrendered creation, this place where by feeling yourself, and we can connect with the experience of everybody in the room who want to share, how does it feel to set intention in your body, to open in a certain way, to allow the energy to move more freely, because then it's sinking into the system the next days or sometimes weeks. So that's a place of creation in a way. It's a group process in an individual way. Something like this. I think I can explain. Of course, those that have already worked one-on-one, because I know them, I know that I can go a bit deeper, so they get an extra touch. But then everybody open, and because also of them already opening maybe a bit more, it's helped those who come first time or maybe second time. It's like when you come regularly to that, it's helped your system to be in this like openness. It's a space when you can reframe something. When you finish the journey, you're in the different frequency. So if there is a decision to consciously take at that time, it's a more powerful one. It's not like just you wake up, it's like, okay, and today I'm doing this. You just wake up from a frequency of more receptiveness. With more receptiveness, and decision just is more deep. And it's a good preparation even sometimes, either preparation or support for one-on-one. So it could be a taste, but it could be like a mix between, because I also bring like some teachings there, like bridging with business, bridging with all kind of topic, law of attraction, manifestation, surrendering, the body wiseness, and different question, because it's always interesting what we can have there. And in group I also do sometimes like more private event or small retreat or more exclusive, when we can work like 2 days, 3 days, much more deeper, with more time on each other.
I haven't been in your group session yet, but when I've had previous group sessions, whether it's just breathing or some therapy or something, then the groups, like being in a group, even if I'm doing my own retreats, then the group energy is so powerful. And even it opens up, like when one is opening, then the others are also opening. When one is stuck, then everybody feel also stuck, or they feel it in their body or their system. And it gives beautiful way to deal with my own things, and not doing everything on my own. Sometimes I can work with I could have like worked with my topics when someone else is working with their topics, and it's like the parallel programs running in my head, working me working on my programs. So it helps a lot. Both are good. Both are good.
Yeah. I think different timing come from different experience. The group can be anywhere often. Because it's like, accessible way of getting support in our busy daily life, and safe space.
How people can reach you, where they can find, what are you doing, when are you doing, and then how they can contact you.
I think the easiest would be the page, to follow the page, or Instagram, and the website. I have a list, so I send either on Telegram or by email what is gonna happen, like during the month, or if there is an event, or the spot that are available for one-on-one.
And what's the address, the website?
It's bmstherapy.me for the website.
BMS Therapy.
BMS, yeah. Body, Mind, Soul Therapy. On Facebook, same name, and Instagram, same name.
Very nice. I'll switch to Estonian at the moment. I don't have to. I just wanted to say that yes, as I said before in the beginning, that I experienced yours, the body, the ammoning, the one session I had with you. It was really, really beautiful experience, and I really suggest to experience it, and to add, to try the one-on-one. Maybe some sessions, and then to add a group session. I really liked how you said that it's more often, then it's more like, supportive part. Yes, that like the maybe very deep work I can do like one-on-one, but the supportive
in group is like the needs you have that day. You accumulate things from the week, and then like one day during that week, then everything that have been accumulated, you haven't really had time to process because, we're all busy. That's the time that the space create this opening to let it out, process it.
Yeah, it's beautiful time.
And move on.
Beautiful time you give yourself to process your feelings. Yeah, the very needed time. Thank you, Anthony, coming to my podcast and sharing a little bit. Now I think that I wish I would ask more about your past and your growing and your lessons and milestones in life, but
let's make another one.
We can always make another one. I think this one is also came also very useful and with very good points about why it's important to have the connection with our own bodies. Why is it important to create the connection and how to create the connection and how to slow down to have the time, the space, and it's beautiful. Yes. Beautiful. Thank you for coming.
Yeah, thank you for invitation. It was a great pleasure to talk here.
Aitäh ka kõikidele kuulajatele, kes meid kuulasid Spotify'st või SoundCloud'ist ja ka kõikidele vaatajatele, kes vaatasid meid YouTube'ist. Kui sulle meeldis see saade, siis jaga seda oma sotsiaalmeediakontodel, saada seda oma sõpradele, saada mulle kiri, ütle aitäh, saada Anthonyle kiri, ütle talle aitäh. Ja olen teinud ära praeguseks ka omale Patreoni, nii et kui sa tunned, et sa said siit väärtust ja soovid toetada podcasti tegemist, kõikide nende stuudiote rentimist ja Spotify igakuise maksmist ja kõike neid asju, mis tegelikult selle kogu podcasti tegemisega kaasas käivad, siis täiega kutsun sind kaasa ka Patreonis toetajaks hakkamist. Ja kohtumiseni siis tõepoolest järgmisel korral, mina olen põnevuses ja ootan väga juba ise seda järgmist korda ka. Aitäh, tšauka!